The desert sun was brutal that morning, hanging low over the dunes like a burning eye. Wind swept across the military outpost, carrying the sting of sand that clung to uniforms and tasted like metal on the tongue. But inside the dusty medical tent, with its beige canvas walls fluttering gently, a young female medic named Liana moved with a calmness that defied the chaos around her. She had soft eyes, the kind that held storms and healing at the same time. Her hands were quick, steady, hands that had stitched up soldiers who never remembered her name, revived men twice her size, and fought death with quiet determination. She was respected by many, but not by General Strickland. General Strickland, broad shoulders, silver mustache, and the arrogance of a man who believed medals granted wisdom, saw Liana as the girl with bandages, nothing more. And everyone on the base knew it. The morning everything changed began during a live-fire drill. Dust kicked up under marching boots, rifles clicked, and commands echoed through the air. Liana was only there to monitor dehydration cases, but fate had a different plan. She heard his voice before she saw him. "Medic, you're standing in the wrong area." Strickland barked, pointing sternly as if the sand beneath her feet would explode. "I'm within the safety perimeter, sir," Liana answered calmly. Her voice didn't shake, but the general's jaw did. "Don't talk back." Behind them, soldiers exchanged glances. They'd seen him snap before, but never like this. Something in him was unraveling. Stress, ego, old ghosts no one understood. He raised his rifle. Not at the sky, not at a target. At her. Time slowed. Sand drifted. Someone gasped. He fired. One shot. Then another. Then 3 more in quick succession. 5 rounds tore through the air. But Liana did not move. Because none of the bullets hit her. Not one. Not because he missed. Not because she ducked. But because she stepped forward, eyes locked on him. Not in fear, but in something he'd never expect. Compassion. The soldiers froze. The desert froze. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Liana slowly reached out and pressed 2 fingers to the barrel of his smoking rifle, lowering it gently. "Sir, you're not well." Her voice wasn't angry. It wasn't shaking. It was soft, too soft for a woman who'd just had bullets fired at her. And maybe that's what stunned everyone the most. If you believe courage sometimes comes in the quietest forms, take a moment to like, comment, and share this story from Kindness Valley. Stories like these deserve to be remembered. Strickland staggered back, as if her kindness had struck harder than any bullet. Sweat trickled down his temple. His breathing was sharp, uneven. His eyes, normally cold and calculating, looked lost. He opened his mouth, but no words came. A young private whispered, "Ma'am, why didn't you move?" Liana blinked, and suddenly she was somewhere else, a memory. A flashback of her father, seated on their porch at dusk. The sky painted orange, cicadas humming. He wore the same uniform she now wore. Strong, but gentle. A medic before her. She was 12 when he taught her the thing she lived by now. "Fear freezes people," he'd said, placing a hand on her shoulder. But compassion melts the ice around their hearts. Back in the desert, she repeated those words silently. The soldiers unclenched their fists. The tension dissolved, not completely, but enough for breathing to resume. Liana stepped closer to the general. "Sir, when was the last time you slept?" He didn't answer. "Eden," she asked. Still nothing. Her eyes softened. "Sir, when was the last time you felt safe?" His hand trembled. The rifle slipped from his grasp, landing in the sand with a dull thud. His voice cracked. "I don't know anymore." The truth came spilling out in broken pieces. Nightmares. Insomnia. Guilt from lives he couldn't save. Pressure from command. A mind stretched thin. Liana listened. Really listened. Minutes passed like hours. A question for you watching. Have you ever misjudged someone who was silently falling apart? How often do we mistake someone's anger for strength, or their cruelty for control? The base commander rushed over, furious, shouting orders, demanding Strickland be restrained. But Liana raised her hand. "No, he needs help, not punishment." For the first time, someone challenged the chain of command, and it wasn't with force. It was with empathy. Over the next days, Liana stayed by Strickland's side, not as a subordinate, not as a victim, but as a medic doing what she was trained to do, save the wounded, even when the wounds were internal. She helped him schedule psychological evaluations, convinced higher-ups to give him a temporary leave, and created a safe, private space where he could talk without judgment. The soldiers watched this transformation like a miracle unfolding. A man feared by many slowly became human again. And the entire base, was stunned not by the bullets he fired, but by the compassion she offered. One evening, after weeks of treatment, Strickland approached her quietly. He wasn't wearing his usual scowl, only humility. "I owe you my life," he said, voice steady. "You owe me nothing," she replied gently. "Just be better. For them. For yourself." He nodded, eyes wet. "I'll try." "Trying is enough," she said. The sun was setting, casting golden light across the outpost. Soldiers walked by with softer expressions, murmuring to each other about the medic who didn't flinch, not when insulted, not when shot at, not when faced with a man drowning in his own shadows. Liana stepped outside, watching the sky fade into purples and pinks. She felt the wind brush against her face, cool, calm, forgiving. She whispered to herself, "Dad, I hope I made you proud." And somewhere deep in her heart, she felt the answer. In this world, strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, and wrapped in gentleness. Sometimes the bravest act isn't fighting back, but reaching out. If this story touched your heart, if you believe in courage, compassion, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. And ask yourself, who in your life needs someone to step forward instead of stepping away? Because one act of kindness, just one, can stun an entire world.